tough journey, I must say. It's lots of ups and downs, and you grow every day, learn a lot of different things, and a passion, a hobby became a profession, and a full passion and a brand today. So it's nice to learn a lot as you go down the line. It's inspiring. I think male and women designers mostly face different challenges, which we all have faced. But it's been a good learning journey, and I'm happy to have been a success today.
What steps? What should we do to get more women?
Yeah, exactly. So I was waiting to answer your question. I think Indian corporates have now made it mandatory to have directors on their board, female directors. I think it's an important move, but it should have come much earlier. You need to understand that this city does not represent the rest of the country. India is still an extremely male-oriented country where females are given pre-formatted rules and pre-formatted roles to play. So I definitely feel that there have to be more, there has to be more representation in the corporate sector. I also feel that parents at a grassroots level need to encourage girls to follow their dreams with as much passion as men are allowed to. So if you see, I mean, just taking an example from Bollywood, which I found very inspiring, was hearing, I recently interviewed Kangana Ranaut, who was very candid about the fact that she had to actually fight to go and pursue her dreams, and today she's a success. So she was abused, she was treated quite badly, and her father's gone on quote saying that I would rather, not have a child than have a female child. I also have a very inspiring, something that inspires me a lot is the NGO Gulabi Gang, which was started by a village woman, Sampat Mal, who was abused by her in-laws, and rather than being an uneducated woman, in her own words, she was frightened, she was marginalized in the village, and when she started this NGO to speak out, my point here is, you ask me, what should we be doing? So it's not only city people who have to go out there, form NGOs and have a voice. I feel even women NGOs, women who are marginalized in villages, can create NGOs, can have a voice. There's a lot of media people. There's this very interesting little quip that you see on Instagram. It's a woman, using the street as a toilet, but she's got a mobile phone. So that's where villages are going. There's a lot of exposure, and that exposure, I think, there are game changers happening, but they're very slow. And I think we need people like us need to partner with village women and make a difference there. Because it's city people who are game changers.
Now you brought up a good point about pre-formatted rules and roles for women. Rashma, is that your experience as well? And what steps would you take to get more women in business?
Very slowly and very,
yeah. And you brought up a good point about straddling two worlds. And I think that's interesting how in certain societies you have different facets. And considering in the Indian society being more patriarchal, perhaps, Mahika, let's go with you. Have you found that there's been times in business, in the workplace, that you have not been taken seriously because you were a woman?
I think being a woman has never been a detriment to me. Maybe because I speak my mind and I know what I want and I know the rights and wrongs. It's very imperative today to be cognizant about what is right. We should know the law, and we know that today. But having said that, there are a lot of women who've had a lot of challenges, and they definitely, it's a patriarchal society. You look at people saying women are bad drivers.
The family, and my fiance is here to support me. When I travel to places like Lucknow, Raipur, and I happen to speak to my guests and guide them for certain things like wellness and beauty services, I actually get an answer that I need to ask my husband to pay up for a package like this. So that surprises me. I feel sad about it, and I really want to call those men, and I at times have done that to counsel them that this is a part of their life and they need to grow out of this, and that is important for us to, as Nisha said, we need to move out and actually start educating the men that the society needs to move.
It's true, and hopefully that, and hopefully that education information, and you're absolutely right about this isn't just about educating the women and the girls, but also educating the men. And hopefully those kinds of initiatives we're starting to see even from the primary school level here in India. Now, right, let's go with you. Now, in this patriarchal society, have you had situations, for example, where you're not taken seriously?
I think, fortunately for me, I haven't really experienced it. I have worked with corporates where a woman was encouraged to speak her mind.
Nisha, your experience.
Well, I've had an experience. I mean, I've had experiences very different to three of our esteemed panelists. I have felt that India is very strongly patriarchal. I still feel it, and while I do have very supportive parents and an extremely supportive partner, in my working life as an interior architect, I find labor does not take women as seriously because they come from villages. So I often feel that from being a fairly mild and amicable person, as I entered the workforce in India, I was forced to become more aggressive and more opinionated to get my work done. I mean, I'm sharing with you, I often felt the need to abuse in order to, make the men at work realize that I'm serious and I mean business in order to meet timelines. And when I came to India, one of my first roles was as an assistant set designer in the film Raju Bandya Gentleman. And I was a young little thing of 18, and one of the senior people on set, one of the powerful senior people, made a pass at me. And I was so, so frightened and terrified. I wasn't the person you see before you today. And I actually left my role as a set designer. And I went away to Australia to study further. I'm just giving you a vignette of my life, sharing a personal vignette, to show you that while these have been defining moments and game changers in my life, while they've made me the person that I am, I have to say that living a life in America and France and living in India, there was a stark difference. There was a stark difference wearing a skirt and my lawyer looking only at my legs right through the meeting. So these are instances which I was traumatized by. These are instances that wanted me to leave India. I had an abusive fiance. I rarely shared this with anyone. Of course I left him, but there was a lot of family pressure saying, oh my God, it'll all settle down. All you need to do is have children, sab theek ho jayega. Sitting before you, you would never believe that this is the same person who went through these challenges. But yes, I did. And which is why I worked so, strongly with female NGOs, and I joined Gulabi Gang. Because I saw all this and I was traumatized by it, and to this day, I'm building a villa in Lavasa, and I sometimes find that, I have to get my husband to speak to the CEO to make things happen. So India is a patriarchal society, and I don't want to blind myself to the fact that, okay, so I'm living a cushy life in South Bombay and it doesn't exist. It exists, and I experience it, and I experience it even now.